So hello everyone, we are back again with our latest video on SQL tutorial Bikacho by Bikacho Group. And basically this is the part third of SQL Server Interview question series. And in this particular video, we are going to discuss most frequently asked questions for SQL. So anyone who is working for data profiles, they can benefit from this particular series and this particular video. Now move on and check first question of today's video. So now we have the set 1. So basically we have distributed this particular video in two sets, set 1 and set 2, and set 1 will be on date time interview questions. So we have already created one table for our questions, which is the company employee table. Okay, now let's move on and check what details the company employee table contain. So it is containing the employee ID, first name, last name, employee mail detail, employee salary, date of joining, department, as well as gender column. Now move on and check the questions one by one and try to resolve these questions. So first question is like get only year part of date of joining. Okay, so basically here we need to use the function of date part to resolve this particular question. So first copy the question and then we will check how to resolve this on SQL Server Management Studio. So get only the year part of date of joining. So how our date of joining is coming currently in the company employee table? First we will check like that. So first do a select star on company employees. So select star from company employees table. Okay, now execute this. So here you can see our date of joining is coming in date and time format, date time format. So we need the year part from that particular date of joining. So here we will use the date part function. So your final query will be like, one second, select date part, date part, and date part will require two arguments. And you can also get a detailed video on the time, date and time function in our video that we will mention in the description. And also you can visit to our channel for those particular functions. We have already discussed in detail how these functions work and what are the benefits of these functions and where to use them. So basically date part will require two arguments to be passed. One is the date part which you need to mention and other is the date. So date part, what we want the year part. So date part year and then comma, then which column we need? Date of joining, doj. Okay, from company employees table, company employees table. Okay, now make it a, give it a alias as doj year, doj year, year, and also we will mention the date of joining column so that it will be clearly visible to us what output we are getting. So this is the final query that you need to provide to the interviewer. So you can see here we are extracting only the year part from the date of joining. Okay, so this is clear to everyone. Now let's move on to the next question. So next what we have the get only month part of date of joining. So here as we are extracting year, now in this second question we need to extract the month part. So same date part function we will use and we will apply it for month. Okay, let's move on to SSMS and check the final query for this. Okay, now comment it out. Now here we need the month part. So similarly here you can mention select from company employee table, and what columns we need the date of joining column, comma, date part, and then the month we need here, date part month, comma, date of joining. Okay, as doj month, month. Okay, now this is the final query that you need to provide to the interviewer. First comment it out and then execute this query. So here you can see we are getting the date of month, date of joining month as month, and this is the date of joining. Okay, so 7th coming, first coming. Okay, so this is the final query that you need to provide to the interviewer. Now let's move on to the next query, next question. Okay, so get system date. Okay, so for getting the extracting the system date, we already have a date time function which is pre-existing and provided by Microsoft SQL Server. So which is system get date. Okay, so that we need to use here. Okay, and these functions you will get the detail on our video on date and time function. So you can go and check to our channel the date and time function. You will also find that video in our description. So you can go for a detailed description there. Now how we will extract that? So basically system date and date function, system date function will provide you the current system date. Okay, so select sys date and time, sys date and time. Okay, so sys date and time will provide a date time data type date, which is providing the current system date. So what is the system date? So my current system date is the current date, current system date time is the current system time. Okay, so you can see here 12:38 and then 8:04, so both are matching. So this is it, this is the final query that you need to provide to the interviewer as system date, as system date. Okay, now execute this again. So system date equals to 12:39 and 8th April 2025. Okay, now move on to the next question. So next what we have? Next we have the get UTC, coordinated universal time date. Okay, so basically here we want the UTC date time, current UTC time. Okay, so current UTC time will be 5 hour 30 minutes before us because we are working from India. So UTC will be 5 hour 30 minutes before us. Okay, so now write this. So the final query that you need to provide to the interviewer is like, copy this first and then remove this, paste it here. So get UTC date. So we have an inbuilt function for this also provided by Microsoft SQL Server, which is select sys UTC date time, sys UTC date time. Okay, and then open and close parenthesis as UTC date, UTC date. Okay, so this will be your final query that you need to provide to the interviewer. So here you are getting the UTC date time, which is before 5 hour 30 minutes, something around that. Okay, so currently it's 12:40 in India and it is providing 7:10. Okay, and basically if the interviewer will ask you to provide just the date part, then how you will do? So here you need to apply the cast function to cast the data type to date, as UTC date time will provide you the sys UTC date time will provide you the date time data type, and you need to cast it to date so that you can extract only the date part. Okay, so mostly they will ask you to provide the date time only, but if they will ask, then you can do it as well. Okay, cast as date. Okay, now execute this. So either the above one or either the second one, both you can use. So if they demand for date only, then you can cast the UTC date time function to date, and if they want the date time function, date time data type, then you can directly provide the sys UTC date time. Okay, so this is clear to everyone. Now move on to the next question. So after this what we have? So after this we have get first name, current date, date of joining, and difference between current date and joining date in month. Okay, so this is an important question, so you can mark it as important. Okay, now move on to SSMS and check how to find out this particular result. Okay, so in this question they are telling to extract the first name. Select. So how the query will be written for this? Select from company detail table, we want company employee table, and then first we want the first name, f name column, and then we want the current date. So for current date we can use get date. Get date will provide, get date is also an inbuilt function that will provide you the current date and time. Okay, so current date, so date and time you can provide, and if they want you to provide the only date part, then you can cast it to date. Okay, so it's better to cast here only because in the question it is mentioned like current date only. So cast this particular get date to date, as get date will provide you date time data type. Okay, as current date, current date. Okay, now then we want the date of joining column. Okay, mention date of joining column, and then what it required, then it required the difference between current date and joining date. So for finding out the difference between two dates, we need date diff function. Okay, so the explained video for date diff is already available on our channel. You can go and check that for detailed explanation. Here we will directly use that date diff function. So basically date diff function will find the difference between two dates. Okay, so date diff, and then you need to provide the which date part you want. So here they are telling for current date and time and joining date in month. So the difference is required in month. You can find it out in year, days and all. So month currently we need, so date diff month, date diff month, then comma, then the first date. So first date will come as date of joining, as date of joining will be less than our get date. So date of joining, and then cast get date as date. This particular we will apply here, and date of joining is also in date time format, so we will cast this date of joining as date. Okay, cast doj as date, then put the alias as doj. Okay, so we will keep each of the column in single line so that the query will be better to read. Okay, now then this one. Okay, then after this date diff will come. So date diff, here we are finding the month difference between date of joining. Cast this here also, cast date of joining as date, as date. Okay, and now date diff between both of them, then close the bracket. Okay, as difference, difference, difference. Okay, now why it is showing like that? Invalid column, f name, select this one. Cast get date as date, as is missing here, so we need to provide the as here as date. Okay, this is fine. Cast doj as date, as doj, date diff between employee as difference. Okay, comma is missing here, this is one thing, and then our query is fine. So here what is missing? Cast as date month, cast as date, then cast as is missing here. Okay, so you need to check what part is missing and what part is there. Okay, so this is the final query that you need to provide to the interviewer. Now execute this and we will get our output. Okay, so here we are getting the first name, current date and date of joining. Current date which is 8th April 2025 and date of joining is this, and the difference in date of joining and current date in month. Okay, so 45 month difference here, then 111 month difference here, and 133 difference here. So similarly, this is the final query that you need to provide to the interviewer. Okay, now move on to the next question. So mark this particular question as important because this is important question. Okay, so after this what we have? We have the sixth question. So get the first name, current date, date of joining and difference between current date and joining date in days. So basically this is similar question to the above one, but here we need to find out the difference in days, not in month. Okay, now copy this and paste and find out how we will do this. So this will also work similarly. Now paste this here. So here just what we need to do, just we need to find the date difference by day. Okay, so you can write the query here also. Select, first comment this out, and then we will write the final query. So the final query that you need to provide to the interviewer is f name, then first write from. So we are writing the table name first because it will help us in getting the column names using the IntelliSense. Okay, basically IntelliSense is open in my system, and how to open the IntelliSense if it is not open in your system, you can find out in Microsoft SQL Server video that we have already posted on our channel. From there you can get many tips and tricks for how to use the SQL Server Management Studio, this particular tool. Okay, now f name, so see IntelliSense is working, and then comma, we need the casted get date. So cast get date, get date as date, as current date, and then comma, we need the casted date of joining. So cast doj as doj date of joining. Okay, then after this we need the date difference function, and date difference we want in between the date of joining and the current date in days. Okay, so basically for in above query we have find out in month, now here we will find out in days. So apply the date diff, and then which part, day part, and then between which between the casted date of joining. So copy this from here, then comma, casted get date. Okay, and then as difference, as day difference, day difference. Okay, now this is the final query that you need to provide to the interviewer. Now execute this and found out the output. So here we are getting the exact result: first name, current date, date of joining, and day difference between date of joining and the current date. Okay, so this is clear to everyone. Now move on to the next one, next question. So next what we have, seventh question. So get all employee detail from company employees table whose joining year is 2013. Okay, so we have already seen how the date part is working. So date part we need to find out the year of joining, and then we need to filter using the where clause. How means those employee detail who have joined in 2013. So let's move on to SSMS and check how to query this. Okay, now do it comment, paste the question. Then what we need to find out, we need to find out the details of all employees from the company employee table whose joining date is in 2013 year. Okay, so how to do this? So first select star from company employees where date part date part date part and then year. So which column, date of joining column, is equals to 2013. Okay, so this is clear. Now execute this. This is the final query that we need to provide to the interviewer. Okay, so here you can see all the employee details are coming whose date of joining is in the year 2013. Okay, so this is clear to everyone. This is a simple question, you can say, and move on to the next question. So after this what we have, we need to find out get all employee detail from company employee table whose joining month is January 1. Okay, so here we need to filter out the date part month and filter out that January month. Okay, so those employees who have joined in the month of January, we need the detail here. So how to write the query? So the final query will be like, comment this out first. So all the employees who have joined in the month of January. So select star from company employee where date part, then here we need to check the month, date part month, comma, date of joining, and then is equals to 0 is equals to 1. Okay, which is January. Now execute this. This is the final query that you need to provide to the interviewer. So here you can see all the employee detail we are getting whose joining month is January. Okay, so year YYYMM, so MM is 01 for each of the employees. So all these employees, Jane, Laura, Michael, Jessica, Anish, has joined in the month of January. Okay, so this is clear to everyone. Now move on to the next question. So after this what we have the ninth question. So get all employee detail from company employee table whose joining date between 2013 0101 and 2013 1201. Okay, so first between 1st January 2013 to 1st December 2013. Okay, now move on and check how we will find out this particular result. So for this particular result we need to use the between operator. Okay, and we need to check if the date of joining is between these particular dates. Okay, Now write the query for this. So this is also a simple question. Basically, these are asked with the employees who have around 1 to 4 years of experience, something around that. And these come in the category of basic questions. And employer, if the interviewer wants to check your basic skills, how you are writing the query and how much basic you need, you know about the SQL, then in that scenarios, they will generally ask this question. So these are mostly asked, but by the perspective of knowing your basic skills. Okay, so now write down the query for this. So we need to find out the employee details who have joined in between this particular date. So select star from company detail, company employee, where DOJ. So basically we have provided the date, so we need to cast the date of joining as date to find out the exact result as date between between and in single quote we need to mention the dates. Okay, 2013 2013 01 and so basically between operator and all kind of operators we have already discussed in our channel, so you can visit to our channel and watch that video for a detailed description on the operators in SQL Server. Okay, so that will also benefit you in by knowing the basic concepts also. Okay, now here we write this query 2013 1201. So between December 1st December 2013 to 1st January 2013. Okay, now execute this and then we will get the details of all the employees who have joined between 1st January 2013 to 1st December 2013. Okay, so 4 employees we have currently, which are Christopher, Richard, Vikas, Nikita, and they have joined on 8th November, 2nd October, 12th November, and 29th what April or May, June, July, April, July, August, 29th August. Okay, now move on to the next question. So this is the final query that you need to provide for the this particular question. Now move on to the 10th question. So what we have, get how many employees exist in company employee table. So this is a very basic question. Just you need to find out the all employees, how many employees exist in that particular company. So we need to find out the count of the employee ID column, because employee ID is unique for each of the employees, and by their counting that particular column we will find out the how many employees are working in that particular company, or how many employees are available in that particular table. Okay, so very simple question. Now write the query, select count employee ID as employee count from the table company employees. Okay, so execute this, and this is the final query that you need to provide to the interviewer, and total 40 employees we have. Okay, here also we can check 40 rows are coming and total count are 40. So all the employee records are distinct in our table. Okay, so total 40 employees we have. So this is clear to everyone. Now move on to the next question. Okay, so now we have the set 2. Okay, so SQL Server salary based interview questions. Now here what we have in the 11th question, select only top one record from company employees table. So this is also a basic question. How we will resolve this? We just need to find out top one record from the company employee table. So for this we will use the top one function. Okay, so how to write the query? Select top one, top space one, star total record we want. So top one star from company employee table. Okay, now execute this and we will get the top one record from the company employee table. Okay, so which is John Smith. Okay, so this is clear to everyone. Now move on to the next question. This is a very basic question, but these are mostly asked in interviews to check your basic skills on SQL. Okay, so next what we have, 12th question. Select all employee detail with first name as Jennifer, Laura and Nikhil. So basically we need to filter out our record based on these particular first names. So we will use the in operator. Okay, so now paste this question and try to resolve this. So how to write the query for this? So select star from company employees where emp first name f name, where f name, then here we need to use the in operator, in Jennifer comma Laura and then Nikhil. Okay, so this is the final query that you need to provide to the interviewer for this particular question. Now execute this and check what record we are getting. So we are getting Laura, Jennifer and Jennifer Nikhil. So all the employees whose first name is Jennifer. So there are two employees whose first name is Jennifer, which is Jennifer Davis and Jennifer Martinez. Okay, so this is clear to everyone. So one thing more we can use here, but that will be a lengthy process. Okay, so or operator also we can apply here, but in is the best required option. Okay, so the interviewer will expect from you the in operator, not the or operator, but or operator also we will use here. How we will use this? We will check now. So we will just apply select star from company employees where f name equals to Jennifer. And then here also you can apply the or operator, or f name equals to Laura, to Laura, or then see here you need to apply or operator 3 times. Okay, or f name equals to Nikhil, but by using the in operator we will directly find out which employees. Okay, now execute this. So both will provide you the same result set, but in operator will be convenient, so provide in operator near the interviewer. Okay, so you can see here also we are getting the 4 records, Jennifer, Laura and Nikhil. Now if we execute both of them simultaneously, then see, expanding this, then we are getting the same record in both the cases. Okay, but apply in operator, that is advisable to everyone. Okay, now move on to the next question. Next question what we have? So select all employee details from with first name not in Jennifer, Laura and Nikhil. So those employee who are except the Jennifer, Laura and Nikhil, those employee detail we want here. Okay, whose first name not in Jennifer, Laura and Nikhil. So copy this and try to execute this. So basically here we will apply the not in. Okay, not in operator. Now mark this as commented. Now write the final query. So final query for this is select star from company employees where f name not in Jennifer. Okay, Jennifer, then Laura, then Nikhil. Okay, so total record, how many we have? Total record we have 40 in this particular table. Now for this particular name we have 4 records. So now we will get 36 rows. Okay, so that will be the validation for your query also, that if you are writing the correct query or not. Okay, now execute this and check if we are getting 36 rows or not. So here we are getting 36 rows. Okay, so this is clear to everyone. Now this is the final query that you need to provide to the interviewer, that those employees whose first name not starting with Jennifer, Laura and Nikhil are these employees. Okay, now this is clear. Now move on to the next question. So next what we have, 14th question. Select first name from company employees table after removing white space from right side. Okay, so basically here we need to remove the right side spaces. So basically we have some records which have right side spaces. We have explicitly written that particular records. Now move on and check which record have the right space. Then we will try to remove the right space using L trim or R trim, using R trim or either the trim function. So these functions are also discussed on our channel, so you can go and watch for detailed explanation for rtrim or trim or ltrim functions. Now here we need to remove the white spaces from the right side. So basically rtrim will remove the white spaces from right side of the text, and ltrim will remove the white spaces from the left side of the text, and trim will remove the white spaces from both the sides. Okay, so now move on and check the ways how we can resolve this particular question. Okay, so we need to remove white spaces from the right side. So which record have the right side spaces? At the below, I think those record will come. So see here we have two records which have a right space. Okay, so first of all we will write out these particular records. So select from company details table, company employees table. Okay, and then here we have the employee mail id is null, so we can apply this particular condition for them, where employee id employee id sorry employee id equals to, or in operator here also we will apply in employee id in 37 and 38, 37 and 38. So just for example purpose I have means written these particular records. Basically you need to apply this particular record on the whole table when this particular question is asked, because here they are telling for removing the white spaces, providing the f name from company employee table after removing all the white spaces, but all of them don't have white spaces. That's why we have explicitly means entered two records, so that it will be clear to you how to remove the white spaces from right side. Okay, so now select star, do the star here and check. So if you execute this, then these two records have right spaces. Now copy this, and if you paste it under the single quote, then you will find out, see, this much white space the first record has, and the second record, we can copy this and inside the single quote. So see, both have the white spaces at the right. Okay, so now we will try to remove the white spaces from right side. So how we will do this? So select rtrim fname from company employee table. Okay, and will be capital, but this will not make any change because SQL is a case insensitive language, and caps and small both work similar in SQL. Okay, so this is clear. Now execute this. Okay, so where this condition we will copy and paste, where employee id in 37 and 38. Now execute this, and this is the final query that you will provide to the interviewer. Okay, now copy this particular record and then paste it under a single quote. Then you will find out the white spaces has been removed from right side. Okay, so for testing you can use the single quote method. Okay, see this. Now white spaces at the right is not available. Or you can apply one more thing. You can apply the direct trim function instead of using the rtrim. Okay, so instead of using rtrim, if we apply trim, then this will work similar to that rtrim, because trim will remove white spaces from both right and left side. Okay, now copy this record that we got from trim, execute this. Okay, now copy this and put it under single quote. So see, here we also don't have the spaces. Okay, so this is clear to everyone. Like in these two ways we can provide our answer to the interviewer. Either we can use the rtrim for removing the right spaces, or either we can use the trim function, because trim is removing white spaces from both right and left. Okay, now move on to the next question, as it has taken a lot of time. Okay, so next question, what we have? Next question, we have the select first name from company employee table after removing white spaces from left side. So similarly, as we have records for right side spaces, we have also created records for left side spaces. Now we will check and remove that using the ltrim function or trim function. So basically ltrim will remove the white spaces from the left side, and rtrim will remove the spaces from the right side, and trim will remove the white spaces from both sides. Okay, so I think this ltrim, rtrim and trim function is clear to everyone. Now how to write the final query for this? So select, first we will check the record what we have. Select star from company employees. Now below we have these records. So here also we can find like this, like where. So like operator I will also use, because previous videos we have already used. In previous interview question we have resolved some questions for like operator. So it will be advisable to go with the first interview question, second interview question, and third interview question, and so on, so that you will be in line with this particular master series on SQL Server interview questions. Okay, and you will get a whole and soul practice set for your interviews, and you can use them anytime when you are trying to or preparing for interviews. Okay, or even you are trying to come in the data field. Okay, so it is advisable to go through each of the parts one by one, because each part will contain different questions on different operators, different functions, and different kind of concepts. Okay, so for complete concept you need to check all of them. So here what it is, so select star from employees where employee first name. So what we need to check, first name like left. So where f name like first means first it will contain like left, so it must contain left. So modulus t left, and then also again modulus. Now execute this. So bracket is, parenthesis is not required here, by mistake I have given. Okay, like this, quote is pending here. Execute this. So here we will get the records which have left in their first name. Okay, so these records have some white spaces at their left. So if you copy this, one second, copy this and put it under single quote, then you will come to find out. See, here we have left spaces for this particular record, and also for this particular record. Check this. So we have the left space for this also. Okay, now we will remove the left spaces, white spaces, and then provide the final query to the interviewer. So how to do this? So select ltrim first name f name from company employees. Okay, as white space left space removed, left space removed. Okay, now execute this and we will check what record we are getting. Now you can see, and where condition this we need to copy and paste so that we will get the clear idea. Okay, put it under enter. Now execute this. So see here we are getting these records without any left space. Now place it under single quote for testing. So see, no spaces there before the letters. Okay, so this is clear to everyone. We can use the ltrim, and also we can use the trim function for this also, because trim will remove the white spaces from both right and left. So apply trim once and check the output. Okay, control R, and then instead of ltrim we can apply trim for first name, and then execute this. So see here we have the, and also we can mention first name so that we will check both the outputs. Okay, so like this also you can provide to the interviewer, so that verification will also be happening at the same time. So see here no left space is there, and here left space is available. Okay, so this is the final query, either this or either this, both you can provide to the interviewer. Okay, now move on to the next question. So next what we have the 16th question. So 16th what we have, display first name and gender as M or F. If male then M, if female then F. Okay, so basically here we need to apply the case statement. So whenever the employee name employee gender is male, then instead of male we need to provide the M, and if the employee gender is female, then we need to provide F in place of female. So first of all check the record, how record we have. Okay, so select first name, for write the table name first so that intelligence will work. So first of all we will find out the first name. Select f name comma the gender. gender. Okay, from company employee table. Now execute this. So see here, we have the John and male, Jane female. So male and female records we have. So what it is telling, to place M in place of male and F in place of female. If the male employees, if male employees then M, if female employee then F. So how we will apply this? So we need to apply a case statement here. So write the final query for this. So select F name from company employee. Okay, and then put it below, then write the query here. Select F name comma, and then in gender part the case statement will come. So case when gender equals to male. So this is an important question, you can mark this, because case statements are very important while you are going to work also, and in interview perspective also, both perspective it is very important functionality to learn about case statement. Okay, so case statement, how to write? So case when gender equals to male, and in that case then M we need to present, and then else when gender equals to, so else will not come here, then M, and then when gender equals to female, then F. Okay, then F, else gender, and then end as gender. Okay, now this is the final query that you need to provide to the interviewer. So now execute this and check what record we are getting from here. So here you can see in place of male and female we are getting M and F. Okay, so for better clarity we can write this gender column also, so that we will get a better clarity on this particular question. Press comma and then provide this gender. Okay, so like this also you can present to the interviewer, so that they will also match this. Execute this. So see, for male we are getting M, for female we are getting F. So this is the final query for our question. Now move on to the next question. Okay, so next what we have? So next we have the select first name from company employees table prefixed with hello. Okay, so first name we need to prefix by hello word. Okay, so for this we need to concat hello word with the first name. Okay, now paste this particular question, and what will be the final query for this? So this is a simple question, you can say, if you know the concept of concat. So select, then hello word, before the hello word we need to concat with the first name. So hello, and then plus F name from company employee table. Okay, now this will provide you the exact output as we want, as we can mention here as F name. Okay, now execute this and see, here we are getting hello added with the first name of the employees. Okay, also what we can do, we can also present the first name column before this, or before this we can mention, so that we will get a clear idea on the changing of the name. Okay, so see here, John, Jane we are getting, and then hello is added to the, added as prefix to the John, Jane means first name. Okay, so this is clear to everyone how to add a prefix on the column name. Okay, now move on to the next question. Next what we have? So get employee detail from company employee table whose salary is greater than 60,000. Okay, so this is a very basic question. Basically here we need to just apply the where clause and find out if the employee has greater than 60,000 salary or not. Okay, So those employee whose salary is greater than 60,000, those record we need to find out. Okay, now write this particular query. So select star from company employee and then simply where salary, employee salary is greater than 60,000. Now execute this. This is the final query only. Okay, so this is a very basic question. Now execute this. So see here, all the employees who have greater than 60,000 salary, we are getting the result for that. Okay, you can see here. Now move on to the next question. So next question, what we have after this? So get employee detail from company employees table whose salary less than 70,000. So those employee whose salary is less than 70,000, that record we need here. Okay, so this is also similar to the above one only. Just here we need to find out those employee who have less than 70,000 salary. Okay, so just write a where clause and apply less than 70,000. Okay, so the final query will be like select star from company employees where employee salary P salary is less than 70,000. Okay, now execute this. This is the final query that you need to provide to the interviewer. Execute, and here we are getting all those employee detail whose salary is less than 70,000. Okay, you can see here 46,000, 61,000, 56,000, 19,000, and so on. Okay, so this is the final query that you need to provide for this particular question. Now move on to the last question of today's video. So what we have, so get the employee detail from company employees table whose salary between 50,000 and 60,000. Okay, so those employee whose salary remain between 50,000 and 60,000, that employee detail we want here. So this is also a very simple question. Just here we need to apply where clause with a between operator. Okay, and we need to find out the salaries between 50,000 and 60,000. So final query for this is like select star from select star from company employees where we will take it in a separate line so that all the query will be visible, where emp salary between 50,000 and 60,000. Okay, so this is clear. This is the final query that you need to provide to the interviewer. Now execute this, and here we get the detail of all employees whose salary is between 50,000 and 60,000. So one thing to note here, that between operator applied on the starting point and ending point, it will cover both the digits also. So like between 50,000 and 60,000, so it will cover both 50,000 employees also and 60,000 employees also. So 50,000 salary we don't have currently, so that is why it is not providing any result, but 60,000 salary we have. So see, 60,000 also it is taking. And this is the last video of part third, and thank you for watching. Like, share and subscribe, and if you want the table details and table data sets, then you can join our Telegram group. So there we are providing the data sets and the table name and all everything, and other documents also related to your interview preparation. So you can join our group and find it out there. Okay, and do like, share and subscribe, and many more videos are coming on the way. And as we have mentioned in our previous video also, that we will launch a master series on SQL Server full course that will come once we achieve the target of 500 subscribers, as I want more and more people to get benefit from that particular series, so that once the subscriber range will increase, then we will launch the full course video playlist. Okay, and if you need any help, do comment us, or you can also contact to us. Thank you for watching. Thank you everyone.